Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I am Kamiko Love from thebudgetmom.com, and we have Ryan here, and today we're going to be doing a full November budget recap. Yes, I can't believe it.
It's December now.
It's December coming up. Actually, it's November 30th today.
Oh yeah, it is, huh?
Yep, November 30th. It's nuts. But we have a lot of things to show you today for our November budget recap. Our normal, where did our dollars go, where we are with our savings goals, where is Ryan with her debt payments, also where we are with selling Ryan's car so she can get rid of those car payments to throw more money at her student loans. All of that coming up. All right, so welcome to our November budget recap. For me, nothing too exciting in November. I'm always looking to see if I'm under my pet budget, and I am.
Winning.
I'm winning. So my budget, people ask me all the time, why is your pet budget so much money? So I do $250 a month for my pets. I have 2 adopted cats, 1 rescue dog. The reason I went with petsurance rather than say saving into like a pet emergency fund is because I had a rescue dog in the past.
Yeah.
And that rescue dog ended up needing 2 hip replacements.
Oh my gosh.
$6,500 later.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
So it made me, not knowing Toby's medical history,
right.
It made me feel more comfortable to have that insurance. Now, I still have a savings for pets.
Yeah.
I roll over my pet envelope unused cash from paycheck to paycheck, so it builds up. So I do use that for any unexpected expenses. But Toby is a Labradoodle mix, and he has skin allergies.
Oh God.
He has skin allergies, so we have to have him on a more expensive diet. I'm talking like $90 a bag of food.
Oh my gosh.
I go through Chewy.com. I have a monthly subscription. They bring the cat litter, the cat food, and the dog food every single month, on top of toys or
Fun stuff.
anything I want to spoil them with. So that's why my pet budget is so high. My pets are my family. And I'm the type of believer that you should, if you can't financially take care of an animal to give them their best life, you shouldn't have an animal.
I agree. Luckily, mine's adopted. He doesn't have any, well, knock on wood. So far, we've had him for like 4 years. He's never had any health conditions. He just has the worst anxiety I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. We left him in his crate last week. We got home and there was blood everywhere. He tried like banging his head out. He has a little boo-boo on his nose. I know. I've never seen it that bad. We think he had like a panic attack or something. That's what
That is so incredibly sad.
I know. It was the saddest thing. We got home and I hate it.
Oh my God.
And now he just looks
she
pathetic.
treats that dog like a baby.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I get that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just never know with rescue animals.
Yeah, it's risky. It's so risky.
You know, when you go out and you buy an animal that has been bred, you know the health history of their parents. It's all documented because they're a purebred.
Right.
Rescue dogs, I mean, they most of them have a horrible quote unquote childhood.
Oh, for sure. They're cheap to buy, but they're very expensive to manage.
Right. So also in November, I had an eye doctor appointment. Now, here's my thing with medical. I don't have, say, like a dedicated sinking funds for medical expenses. I do have medical insurance being self-employed, but I don't have vision insurance. I never thought I would need vision insurance until I realized I cannot see.
Actually, you did need vision.
It's not that I didn't realize until I admitted to myself I can't see.
You've known for a while.
I've known for a long time. I went to the eye doctors. Turns out I do need glasses. Not full-time glasses. I can wear them full-time if I need to or want to, but it's mostly because I can't see far away.
Okay.
And we did on our last Instagram Live. Make sure you check out our Instagram IGTV channel, because on our last my Instagram Live, we talked about essentially I can't even see road signs, which is not very safe. I ended up buying glasses. You're going to see that. Now, how I handle these types of unexpected medical type costs, okay? I went and paid for the eye doctor visit in cash, as well as my new eyeglasses. I paid in cash. Great thing is when you pay in cash, you get a 10% discount, at least where I went.
Nice.
And so $573 was my expense for that. And it came out of my checking account cushion. This is why I have my $1,000 buffer.
Right.
I like to keep $1,000 in my checking account at all times. It's what I use. Do I go to the eye doctor very often? No. In fact, it's been 3.5 years since I went the last time. For me, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to have that vision insurance. Even with me getting new eyeglasses, my eye doctor said, hey, I probably don't even need to see you for another couple of years. In fact, we scheduled my next eye doctor appointment 2 years out.
Nice.
So
2 years.
So that's how I handled that purchase. So you're going to see that in my budget. Other than that, in staying within my pet budget and only being $2 over my food budget.
Nice. Oh yeah.
So all in all, it wasn't that bad. Did you have anything new?
Not really, actually. This month was pretty simple for me, I guess. The biggest thing, and I talked about this on Miko's Instagram. I had a trip planned to go to Oklahoma to go see my mom in November. My grandma ended up getting COVID. She is fine now and recovered. So that you'll see that, and I didn't get that money back. It's just credited, but I'm going there in December, so that's what that's being used for.
So credited like airline credits.
Right. So you'll see that. Other than that, nothing really going on too different for me.
Okay. Now let's talk about your car.
Yeah.
So Ryen came to me last week, and we were talking. How do you privately sell a car when you still owe on a loan with it? Okay, you don't have a clean title to the car to sell it in a private sale.
Right.
So we were kind of like, what did she do? So you still have your car.
I do still have my car. What I've been doing after that talk, obviously I have to hand over a title when I sell the car. So I am putting all of my extra income towards my car loan now, just to get it paid down.
Because you're in the red. You're upside down.
I am in the red, about $2,000. So it won't take me very long to, hopefully by the time I do it, it's not even more in the red. But anyway.
You're green and you're green.
Yeah, right. So hopefully it won't take very long. I was able to put $958 towards it this month. So I'm headed towards the green.
Here's the thing. I'm going to give you some tips on if you want to sell a car, to get rid of the car payments if you still owe or have a car loan. The first thing that you need to do is you need to figure out what type of equity you have in your car. Are you red, meaning you're upside down, meaning the car value, the value of your car is less than what you owe?
Yep.
Or are you in the green, meaning the car value is higher than what you owe in your car loan? You need to figure that out. The next thing you need to do is you need to talk to your lender. You need to make sure that it's different from lender to lender. You need to figure out what paperwork you need to legally sell the car, and not because you still owe on it. So you need to talk to that lender. Now, the best way and the best thing to do, this is all about finding the right buyer. You have to find a buyer who can go with you into the bank, into a physical location at your lender to sign the paperwork. That way, they know that they are going to receive a clear title as soon as they pay for the car. And
I'm out.
And you're out.
Yeah.
Essentially, they pay off the car loan and the title gets released to the new buyer.
Yep.
But you really first have to, because like Ryen, she's tackling being upside down in her car. She is paying.
I'm doing that first.
She's doing that first. She's taking that extra income that she has and she's throwing it at her car loan, hoping that when she finds a buyer, she's in the green.
Yeah.
She has equity built up in her car rather than being negative.
Right. And I don't really mind it now. I mean, I do. Now I have 2 cars, which is more than I need, obviously. Yeah. But my brother's car is just sitting there. So it's not costing... It is in a way, I guess. But it's not costing me any more, I guess, to have his car just sitting there while I'm working on my car. So that's why I'm not too upset about it. I wish I could have my car sold quicker, but...
It is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. And you know, it is. It's a little more difficult to sell a car when you still have a loan. It's not impossible. It is doable. But it really comes down into terms of what type of buyer you find. And if they're okay going through some of those extra steps, going to a physical location. But it also gives them, the buyer, the peace of mind that
It's legit.
It's legitimate.
Yeah.
Right? That they do have a promise or a legal document stating that they will get the clear title as soon as the loan is paid off, which is going to be done through their payment of the car. So all of that, it's a big process.
It is.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, it's going to be so worth it.
It's worth it. Ryan's going to be getting rid of those car payments to pay on student loans, which she should be able to reach that within the year.
Yeah.
So that's where we are with that. Let's take you and look at our Where Did Our Money Go worksheets. These are our worksheets, what we call closing out our budget. Essentially, it's all about not leaving our hard work of tracking our spending in the dust and moving on. We're taking a step back for a second to analyze where our dollars went, if our spending is aligning with our financial goals, meaning, are we throwing our money at the things that matter most to us? How do we do that? We first have to establish priority goals and list them in order of importance in our life. What are the things that we are trying to tackle? And those things are steps that lead up to our bigger goals. So it's very important, but not only that, it's an eye-opener.
Yes.
And if you hear from any of our wonderful community, they will tell you that this was their biggest eye-opener.
Yeah, every month it is.
Every month, it's like
Yeah.
a new thing. It's like, oh, I can do better in that.
It's like a conclusion is how I think of it.
It is. It's a conclusion, though, that you work with
Right.
in the future.
To change, yeah, it's what you use to tweak in the future.
Because
for
you
sure.
can't change what you don't know. So let us show you what closing out our budgets look like and what I mean by analyzing, tracking your spending. Okay, so in order to fill out our Where Did Our Money Go worksheets, all the information comes from our expense trackers. Now, I'm a manual expense tracker. I use the highlighter method, meaning that I use different colors of highlighters to highlight the different categories that represent in my budget. Now you can see these are all of my different colors and the categories they represent in my budget. Why do I do it that way? Because very quickly, visually, I can see where my money is going. So for instance, all of this dark blue is me saving money. That takes up quite a bit of this page. Also, utilities is bright pink. It's just a way for me to visually see my spending without having to look at every single
Right,
category.
every line item,
right.
yeah.
So one of the first steps is, now I use a different expense tracker anywhere there is money movement in my life. Money movement meaning I'm either spending or income is going in. That's two areas of my life: cash and my checking account. Why do I keep them separate? It all has to do with organization. It's easy for me to track and organize my spending if I keep my expense trackers separate for the different separate areas of money movement. So the first step is, as you can see, this is all the cash spending I did. That's it in November.
Wow.
So this one was easy. So what I did is I just added up my different categories. There's only two categories on this page: savings and holiday. So I add up what those categories were right next to it. Now I also am bringing in another step so you can visually see it. My income. The only income I had for cash was the money I rolled over from last month into November, which is my starting balance. So that's $218. Now my expense tracker took up a couple of different spreads. Here's one, and then I had to actually move to another one. Here's me adding up all of those different categories. My income is made up of a couple of different things. The starting balance. Starting balance is how much I had in my checking account the day that I started my new tracking period, or the day I closed out my budget in November. I had $987.32 in my checking account. But I also had earned income, which is my paycheck, and I had other incoming income, which is $1,044. That's all income sources in November, and I'll show you why that matters when we get to the Where Did My Money Go worksheet. So this is the first step in that process. People will say, Miko, this looks like a lot. Not really, because this tracking my spending, I track my spending every day. It's a daily habit that has formed in my life, and it's a good one. I keep my receipts for any cash spending. I track them at night. For my checking account, I jump on once a day, look at the transactions that cleared, write them in my expense tracker. And then it's just a matter of organization.
Right.
Everything is given to you in order to do the Where Did My Money Go worksheets. Everything.
Right.
So let's go ahead and jump into our first Where Did My Money Go worksheet, which is our monthly category breakdown. Okay, so here's Ryan's November monthly budget category breakdown. Here is mine. Ryan is using the full size of the Budget by Paycheck workbook. I am using the box set. So this is why you see a big difference in size. Ultimately, my total monthly income is $6,481. Now remember, we talked about this, is essentially the starting balance from my cash or any income from my cash, as well as right here what I figured out, starting balance, earned income, and other income. Now what do I mean by other income? Well, it's money I use for my Christmas sinking fund, which you can see here. It's money that Chris gives me to pay, to reimburse me from paying some of the bills. It's pest control, another sinking fund.
Yeah.
I get it done every quarter. They come and spray around my house. I put $50 aside every month for that.
Nice.
As well, and no income here. So it's a matter, for me, it was a matter of sinking fund savings that I used. So that's where my income it comes from, and that's what I wanted to show as far as regarding my totally monthly income. It's not all earned income,
Right.
for example.
Right.
Then we write down our categories, giving yourself a tracking period budget.
Yeah.
Now it says monthly budget but it's technically your tracking period budget. When do you track your spending? Is it from the beginning of the month to the last day of the month? Is it from the first paycheck of the month to the first paycheck of next month? There should be a limit or a budget. How much I spent as far as my categories. Now, like I had mentioned, if it's in pink, I was over budget. If it's in green, I was under budget. So I'm always over budget, usually in my savings.
Yeah, which is a good problem.
I wasn't this month.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow,
so
that's like the first month for you.
It's the first month for me. Why? Because I spent a lot more of my for me, a lot of the income that I received wasn't saved. It was spent for Christmas and things like that.
Right.
So holiday shopping.
Right.
I was over budget by $2 in my food. That is a win.
That is such a win. Oh my gosh.
And then my pets, I was under by $19, which is another huge one. Savings, I saved 25% of my income. So essentially, you add up all of your different categories. Don't forget to include next month's starting balance on your monthly budget category breakdown. Why? Because every dollar of your income needs to have a plan. That starting balance is part of that plan. You're rolling it over into the next month to spend it. So I just label mine December starting balance. Many people use different terms for this. This is also part of your checking account cushion.
Right.
Your cushion is part of this. My cushion is $1,000. So out of that 1,287, I'm moving into that I started with my December starting balance. Only a 287 of that is rollover cash.
Right.
The rest is my cushion. So that's what my monthly budget category breakdown. How did you do in terms of where your dollars went?
Okay, this month was actually a really huge win for me in different areas. So my starting balance was $416.23. Like Miko, my incoming income doesn't only include earned income. I used holiday sinking funds for Christmas presents, bringing my total monthly income to $5,073. And everything here in green, I was under budget. Things in red, I was over. So
the things you were over is good.
I know, right?
You were over in what you thought you would put to debt.
Yeah.
And towards your savings.
Yeah. So it was a huge win for me. I guess, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't do much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Really good.
But it was a huge win. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's that Oklahoma trip that I was talking about earlier for $455.20. Like I said, this is now credit with Delta Airlines, and I'm just using it towards my trip I'm taking in December.
Perfect.
$26.13 was just an oil change. So
hey, I got an oil. I'm getting an oil change this month in December.
So productive. I feel so productive.
I know when you do all the adult
it's
things.
Been like 12,000 miles.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and you were off by 0.
I was off by 0. I've noticed that going cashless, it's harder for me to be off just because I round up with my cash expenses. So that's a huge reason why. But Maybe just because everything's in one place. I don't know. But I was off $0, and that was the first time ever.
I was off by 1, but it's because I rounded up.
Yeah.
So that, or for me, I rounded down. But yeah, so this is what our monthly budget category breakdown. We do this to see where did our dollars go in terms of the budget categories that we set. This is a perfect way for you to see, are your budget categories working for you?
Right.
Do you need to separate? Do you need to simplify? Simplify meaning shrink the amount of budget categories you have. Now, both of us are really good with our budget categories.
Yeah.
They're very simplified or simplified and limited.
Right.
They're simplified, but we still have a clear picture of where our dollars are going.
For sure.
There's a fine line between breaking down your budget categories too much and not enough.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Because the point of doing this is you want to see the trouble areas of your spending. This is the biggest eye-opener. Some people go, oh my gosh, I did not realize I was spending $2,000 a month on food.
Yeah.
I did not realize I was spending $500 a month on fun activities.
Right.
This is that eye-opening moment. It gives you a chance to know.
Yeah.
Once you know, you can make changes. Okay, so let's look at our monthly debt and savings breakdown. So monthly debt and savings breakdown. This all has to do with your financial goals and the priority that you have established in your life for those goals. So it's always important. Everyone likes to know, oh, I paid off this much debt this month, or I saved this much money this month. But that's really not the important thing to know. The important thing to know is what specifically did you pay off in debt? What goals are you saving for? It's breaking down that amount into more awareness.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I saved 25% of my income, $1,617. That's good information.
That's still 25%.
That's good information. What's even better though, is the money that I'm saving, this $1,617, is it going towards things that are the most important to me? Well, let's see. I save for sinking funds, landscaping, 2020 challenges, and my 529, which is my college savings account for my son. 55% of the money that I saved went to sinking funds, 11% to landscaping, 28% to 529, and 7% to 2020 challenges. You then ask yourself, is the dollar amounts I'm throwing towards my saving these things, is it in the priorities that matter?
Right.
My priorities this month, sinking funds, landscaping, and 529. And you can look at these percentages, you can see that those were the highest things in percentage-wise that I saved for. My spending, or where I'm allocating to where to put my money, aligns with those financial priorities and goals in my life. Now, Ryan's a little bit different because you got debt.
Yes.
So explain yours.
Okay, so I was able to put 19% of my income to debt, and that's broken down here. So car, I was able to put 97% of that to debt, and my college student loan is 25%. So my minimum payment for my car is $508. So I was put around $400 something extra, and then this is just the minimum payment for that.
Okay.
And then over here on my savings, I did save quite a bit too, 17%.
You're doing both.
I am doing both, and the reason is because my car maintenance fund, with my brother having an older car, I never really had an established car maintenance fund just because I've been driving a brand new car. So now that I'm transitioning to an older car, I want to make sure that I have that before I get rid of my current car. So I'm trying to pay off my car and build a car maintenance fund at the same time, which is 39% of this category was saved. And then Hawaii is another one. So I put $100 towards Hawaii plus all the money that I got from the challenges towards Hawaii. So $327.
You used your savings challenge.
I did. I just threw it in that savings account. $327 is there. And then Costco, I started a little Costco sinking fund. And then my other sinking funds for $150.
Okay.
I have a lot going on.
You do. You have a lot of things. So your top three were your car maintenance, Hawaii, and your sinking funds. Would you say that aligns with your financial goals?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you see, the thing is that these goals will change.
They do every month for me, honestly.
Right.
And sometimes I feel defeated over that, but I'm still reaching those goals, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
I mean, like, after you go to Hawaii, you're not going to be saving for Hawaii again, and then you can throw that money towards another priority financial goal.
Right.
So it's looking at your financial goals, the big picture of what you're trying to accomplish. And sometimes we have more immediate needs, savings goals that we are wanting to accomplish, and that's fine. It's a perfect example. You can pay off debt and save at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan just threw an extra $400 towards her car, as well as save money.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of, right now, what I did in November at least is I put my first paycheck extra income to car maintenance. My second paycheck I put towards debt. So that's kind of how I'm balancing it out, just because it's pretty even. But
Right. Yeah, perfect example of that, of how you're choosing to use the extra income in your budget.
Yeah, not just all towards debt.
Right. But you're still accomplishing big things with your debt too. So this is what the monthly debt and savings breakdown looks like. All right, the last Where Did My Money Go worksheet is all about noticing short-term trends, and these trends usually transition into longer-term trends. What happens from your spending from month to month? Now, every single one of my members in my community, I'm hoping, are setting smaller goals that they're wanting to reach from pay period to pay period. Or tracking period to tracking period. For me, they kind of stay the same. It's keeping my pet budget down. It's keeping my food budget down. It's really allowing yourself to not only establish those goals, but to make sure you're sticking to them month to month. So trends are a huge thing, and comparing how your spending went from last month is also letting you know if you're doing better or worse in that short period.
For sure.
So for me, if it's in green over here, I spent less in November than I did in October. If it's in pink, it's more than. Now, I did have a significant decrease in income from last month, and that's because I didn't use my vacation savings.
Oh, yeah, that's
in
right.
October, I was in Arizona for 7 days, and I used a big chunk of my income, which came from my vacation savings, for that trip. I didn't this month. So that's where the decrease of income came into play. This is important. How much your income changed from last month to this month. If it's decreasing or increasing, you need to make sure your spending is compensating for that change. So I was over in my gas and car, household, in pets, let's see, holiday, utilities, insurance, medical. Medical was due to my eyeglasses. I used my checking account cushion. Utilities went up a little bit.
I was just about to ask you, are your utilities going up?
Yes, they're going up a little bit with winter, and we have a fireplace, but we didn't use it.
Oh, okay.
Which is why it's a little bit higher. So all of these make sense to me. Now, where I really wanted to make sure, my pets budget. So that is, I spent $30 more than I did last month. Last month I spent $201. This month I spent $231. Pretty good.
Yeah,
still under budget. Still under my budget. Food, I was under.
Nice.
So that's my...
Oh, yeah, you were pretty good about
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. So that's my monthly spending comparison.
Okay. I already see I messed up once, but that's okay.
Where'd you mess up?
Just, this is supposed to be red, but that's fine.
Okay. That's supposed to be red.
Yeah, I did spend more. So my monthly income change, I actually had an increase of $302, and that was only because of the sinking funds that I used. So I had a holiday sinking fund that I used in November. So some areas that I was over budget in, food, this is supposed to be red. I was $17 over in November than I was in October. Miscellaneous, I spent $6 more. I did put more towards debt, so this is actually good, I guess, that this is red. I put $9.59 in November versus $5.33 in October. I was more in November for my car with my oil change. I spent more on Christmas, Thanksgiving, my Oklahoma trip, obviously, and everything else I was under. So it was a pretty successful month for me. I'm happy how it went.
So that is our full November budget recap. December.
Bring it.
Bring it. I have nothing crazy going on for December. We're hunkering and staying home.
Right.
I'm having Christmas with my kiddo, so we'll get up.
Yay.
I always like to make a really special Christmas breakfast.
That's
so
fun.
It's usually I usually make a blueberry kind of strudel.
Okay.
It's like a blueberry breakfast cake.
Nice.
With lemon glaze, and it's amazing. But this year Chris came in with some different recommendations. He's not a big fan
You
of
might
the
have to switch
blueberries.
it up.
He's not a big fan of blueberries. He asked for something banana or chocolate. So that's really, and then I'm spending the rest of my Christmas sinking fund, or I shouldn't say spending the rest. I'm going to finish my Christmas shopping and challenge myself to save some money that I saved for Christmas so I can apply it for next Christmas.
Right.
That's my ultimate goal in December. Anything new in December? You're gonna go see your mom.
I am. I get to go see, well, as of today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get to go see my mom in Oklahoma. My brother actually is getting tested today for COVID. So fingers crossed that I'll still be able to go over there. But as of today, we're going. The ticket's already paid for, so I don't have to worry about that. Other than that, like you said, the rest of your Christmas shopping.
Yep.
And seeing how much we have left over
Yes.
after that.
So I do have a challenge before I leave today's YouTube video. My challenge to you is to start your spending game plan for January. Now, I know we're just coming out with November budget, but we've already finalized and created our December budgets. But I want you to take it one step further. Why? Because January, we're all about creating those new savings goals for the new year. The things that we want to accomplish.
That's literally what I did this weekend.
I know. I'm going to be starting mine today.
I went through all my sinking funds and like figured out which ones I want to cash flow and which ones I don't.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I figured out how much I need to set aside.
Right. You want to look at all of those events and holidays that are going to be coming up in the new year.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to save a little bit from each paycheck for some of those? Are you wanting to cash flow as far as using that current paycheck when it happens to pay for it?
Right.
So these are all things that you need to establish and think about and get ready for January. Now, a couple of tips when it comes to establishing those goals for the new year. So my first tip is make it actionable, attainable, and realistic. Also, make it specific. It shouldn't just be, I want to pay off debt.
Yeah.
Set a very specific amount, a time deadline, and write down the action steps on how you're going to get there. Remember, financial goals is not just writing that goal down on a piece of paper. That's not what matters. What matters is the actions you take to accomplish that goal. Mm-hmm. And to start now. Start it early. Give yourself time and the ability to save for those things a little bit at a time. That way, it's not such a big, hard hit to your budget when the time pops up.
Right.
Where all of a sudden you need to come up with $500.
Yeah.
Instead, take $25, $50 from each paycheck, set it aside. So you're doing it in a very small way that's leading up to accomplishing a fairly bigger goal. Another thing, I really want you to think about, one of the things that can sometimes deter us and leave us less motivated is when we set financial goals that we aren't particularly excited about reaching.
Yeah.
Find a goal, just one, where you're doing it for yourself. So much of this journey is about, doing things for others.
Right.
Even when it comes to establishing your why, I always say make it about something other than yourself. Why? Because that's where the emotion and passion come through. It's what keeps you dedicated. Mm-hmm. But another thing that keeps you dedicated is excitement. And being genuinely, truly excited for something. Maybe that's saving for that new pair of jeans you've been wanting for a really long time, that new purse you've been eyeing. Do it and set it up. Make a plan for it in your budget. That way, when you spend that money, you're not guilty. You don't feel guilty over spending. You had a plan to do so. So implement something that you personally are excited for in the new year, something you're going to be working for in 2021. December, and then the new year. Bring it on. That was our complete November budget recap. If you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. You gonna be in the YouTube video?